What's up YouTube, this is Nicholas's Figure Reviews and this is the video review for SHFiguarts Kamen Rider Kabuto Renewal or Shinkocho Seiho version. Alright, I wasn't intending to review this guy at all until this guy recently got a re-release somewhere like 1 or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I got this guy back in March 2015, so I've owned him for quite a long time now. So it's kind of, I hope I do this quick. Alright, so yep, the first renewal to be introduced into the Shinkocho Seiho line. And for what you guys know about the renewals, they have pretty sexy boxes. So you have the silhouette of the figure over here, name, rider form, bottom. You have the back that lets you see the figure in some poses, blah blah blah, and that's pretty much it. And since this was the first renewal to be released, you take out the box, you get the instructions, and you also get the concept book, which many of us have missed for a long time because we only get concept books for this guy and Hibiki, because Hibiki is a brand new mode and stuff. So SHFiguarts concept book for Kabuto, and we also have the Shinkocho Seiho symbols at the side. Here's the back with the Shinkocho Seiho symbol, pretty cool. You open it up, you see the figure in some poses and some Japanese information of how they made the figure. So you have the body template and stuff. You have you have the sketches of how they designed the joints and produced by Tamashi Nations, blah blah blah. Pretty cool. And for inside, you get 2 trays. A tray for the figure and another tray for the accessories, which would drop, but yeah, pretty cool. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. I'll open Kabuto and his accessories up to let you guys take a closer look at the figure, so stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back and here we have Kabuto Renewal out of the packaging. Before I jump into articulation, details, and going through the whole figure overall, I'm just gonna zoom out. I'm gonna put a few figures beside him for comparison. So first of all, here we have the first Kabuto Figuart, his predecessor. And as you can see a huge amount of difference in terms of the proportions, paintwork, sculpt, and the joints overall. So Kabuto Renewal over here is obviously the renewed version, separate piece belt, better articulation points, newer style shoulders, and a more proportionate body overall. And it reflects well on a person wearing an actual suit. So here we have 1.0 Kabuto. We have a SHFiguarts Renewal Decade. I'm just gonna put him here to let you guys take a closer look on seeing how a renewal scales on the renewal. I'm gonna level the camera up just to make it easier for you guys to see. We have SHFiguarts Kamen Rider Ghost. Gonna put him at the back there, or maybe here. Gonna put him away. We have Figma Sinon from Sword Art Online 2 or Gun Gale Online. And lastly, we have my Kid Bash Kamen Rider Figuart 3.0. So as you can see, Kabuto over here scales pretty well, which is pretty obvious. So let's get all the figures out of the way and move to articulation. Alright, so for articulation, I'm gonna zoom in. Pretty good. Alright, so for articulation wise, he has a double ball joint down up at the head and a ball joint down here at the neck. So you get lots more movement than the 1.0 because he has a more accurate collar, which is the shorter one. So you get lots of neck movement. He can look up and down pretty well. Side to side, 360 rotation, pretty good articulation for the head. For his arms, you have the ball jointed shoulder pieces that's inside the chest, in the universal hinge that goes all the way up. Pretty impressive. You have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, double hinged and ball joint shoulder pad that moves independently, so it'll get out of the way and it won't break the skull. For the wrist, this is kind of different because you get a similar to Figma style kind of wrist joint, so you don't get a side to side. You only get up and down on a single hinge and rotation, which is pretty weird considering this is supposed to be a renewal. You have upper torso ball joint, which extends and gives you a better ab crunch. It's pretty hard to see, but it gives you better ab crunch. I'm just not demonstrating it well. And by the way, the chest, it's held up by individual pieces as well. You can see his two boob armor over here. They are individual ball joints. Pretty cool. So he has movable pecs. And the reason why Bandai did this is so that his arm won't get in the way of articulation, so he can still move his arm to the side more a bit and it still kind of flows in within the armor. And this lower piece here is a single flap so that it doesn't scratch the paint on the Kabuto Zactor and still gives you that amount of ab crunch that you need to pose that figure. Lower ball joint on the waist, individual Kabuto Zactor, and on the Kabuto Zactor you can flip the horn, which is on the individual peg on hinge. You have front, a bit of back, you have outwards on the hips, so you have the 2.0 hips, thigh swivel, kind of limited but it's still pretty accurate for a human anatomy, double jointed knees, 3-point rider ankles, which includes 360 rotation, side to side angle tilt, front and back, and lastly we have the toe hinge. So Kabuto over here, for the first renewal to be released, is really poseable. Okay, so a few of you may notice, but as you can see on the tummy armor over here, the red is slightly different than the one that you see on top. Well, the reason is because I got someone to paint it on with a similar color. It's not completely accurate, it's still kind of noticeable if you see it up close, but I had to because the first time I got it, it was a pre-owned figure, so it kind of got scratched somewhere here, and I tried using, out of all things, Gundam marker to repair it, and I pretty much fucked the whole thing up and made it worse. So I got a good friend of mine who kind of fixes figures, repaints figures, does custom figures and dioramas to kind of patch it up using some Tamiya paint, and he looks alright overall, and I doubt that you guys will notice the difference on screen. Alright, so moving on to closer details of the figure. As you can see, very nice metallic red all throughout, well, most of it. You have the nice compound blue eyes, which are more detailed than the 1.0. As you can see, the 1.0 is starting to fade and stuff, and the pattern inside the visor is pretty big. But as you can see on the renewal, it's much more detailed and much more intricate and stuff. The horn is more thinner and longer, more accurate. It's made of hard plastic, unlike the 1.0, which is a PVC material. And on the armor plating, it's nicely painted with the sexy Bandai silver instead of individual die-cast pieces throughout. And of course the feet are not die-cast, but you also have really nice detail underneath. Pretty nice. So that's pretty much it for the figure. I'm gonna go through the accessories. I didn't watch Kabuto, honestly, but I hope I didn't mess anything up. Here's his hands. He comes with 7 extra hands, excluding 2 of his initial ones, so a total of 9 hands. And what's pretty cool is it comes with a hand rack because of the way his wrist joints are designed. So including the 2 fists that he comes with open palm hands like these, and they all have their own red patch painted on. You have melee weapon holding hands, or other thing holding hands like swords and stuff. You have holding hands with his trigger finger extended, so he can hold his kunai gun mode. And the last hand that he comes with is his pointing hand to do his signature "my grandmother once told me" pose. To change hands, it's actually pretty simple. If you fiddled with a Figma that was released before the 200 product mark, you should know how it works pretty much. So you pop the hand off, and you choose a hand that you want to use. For now, I'll use the pointing hand, so I can kind of replicate the pose. I watch Kabuto, so do excuse me. So you have this going on, pretty cool. Or holding accessory hands, which I will prepare first. So trigger finger here, and a normal holding hand on the other. Alright, so for the last two accessories, he comes with also his kunai, if that's what I think it is. It comes with two modes. Some people call it an axe mode if you hold it like this, or pretty much the gun mode. And of course you have the kunai blade mode, and these guys are pretty well painted. If I zoom in and show you guys the details, as you can see, really nice detail painted throughout the whole weapon. For something this small, I'm pretty impressed that they actually give out all the details. But then again, this is a Renewal figure accessory, so it's pretty much expected. So you can see orange metallic blade, crisp and clean, and on the gun as well, pretty nice. And of course, to make Kabuto hold it, you put it on his hands, obviously. So for the kunai gun mode, just gonna put it on his right hand, so it fits in properly, and you make sure that young Metro does trust you. You have the kunai blade blade. I'm gonna put it on the other hand, like this, so he can commit seppuku, perform whatever, kill me if you want to. But yeah, pretty cool. And the hands are sculpted to hold the kunai in a certain angle to make him more cool and stuff. So I like what they did there and stuff. And I guess that's pretty much it of the review. So I guess that's pretty much it of this review. If you enjoyed this review, do leave a like, comment, and subscribe below. Subscribing to my channel really helps my channel a lot, so I really appreciate it if you do subscribe. This is Nicholas with Figure Reviews signing up, and I hope to see you guys in another video. Peace.